All right, and we're back. And with that being said, we want to circle back to, the business side of the venture. Obviously, you had the paint company before. At what was the tipping point? So in terms of, success in the paint space. So you started this company with your buddy Darren. At what point in time, year and everything, where was the company at, in terms of success in your eyes as far as just a household trade that you're making money providing for the family? And I want to bring in YouTube with it. At what point in time, and, with that being said, year and everything, did you see the YouTube space coming about and be like, hey, I think there's an opportunity here?
So in order to be successful, you're going to have to do your homework, and you're going to have to try out a lot of different things. You're going to fail at some, and you're going to succeed at some. And I was bound and determined to have a successful painting company, and I was going to explore whatever it took to become successful. And I can remember, early on, I had this route that I would do, and I would do pull tags, little, like you would print up this flyer and it'd have my phone number on it, and I'd give you a free estimate. And Albertsons has a little bulletin board in there, and I'd hang these pull tags. And I did every Albertsons, and I would do the valley, and I would usually start at about 9:00 at night, and I would usually end up right down the street here. There was a Gold's Gym, and that would be my last stop, was Gold's Gym, and I'd work out, and it was usually around midnight. And then I would go back to bed, and I was bound and determined to market myself. And I always told myself, I was going to do it, and I was going to growth hack my way to success. And what that means is I'm not going to pay $10,000 to have ads in Yellow Pages and newspapers and stuff like that. I was going to find the free ways to do it. And you can be successful, if you growth hack your way to success. And so pull tags were very successful. So was door hangers. And I started, doing, those things to, grow my business. And then, Facebook came out, and Facebook was a way for, my generation to connect to your high school classmates and stuff like that. And it was, when you weren't happy with your wife, you could connect with your ex-girlfriend and spark up a new relationship. And so my wife was like really mad at me that I started a Facebook page.
Dark eyes, man. Dark eyes are dark.
Like, what are your motives?
I know. And it was like, I think that was probably like us close to getting divorced, and but it's weird because I started a Facebook. I mean, I did have a fascination about seeing, what some of my classmates were doing, but I was like, I started a Facebook page, and I think like soon after that, I started a YouTube channel, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. And I just said,
strictly your idea?
It was my idea. I saw YouTube, and I was just like, they were cat videos. If you go back the early days, and so it's like, and I was really like, I had a fascination with marketing, but I had a fascination with marketing and not paying to market myself. And so I was like, I could like make a video of me and my wife, like sitting on the couch, talking about who BNK Painting is and like selling our company. So, you walk in, you meet a client, you say, okay, I walk through the house and I'm going to get you an estimate. And then you walk out and they never see you again. My idea is like, hey, if you want to see who I am and you want to see my family and wife, and now they can make this connection of seeing my wife. It's like, oh my gosh, he's got a wife. I want to help support him and his family. I created a video like that. And I'm like, so I said, okay, I'm going to use YouTube to help market myself. I created that video, and I'm like looking at Facebook going, somehow I'm going to figure out how to use Facebook to market myself. And what's funny is like Facebook was a kid thing, and then eventually the kids find out that the parents are on it, and the kids they bail. That wherever the parents go, the kids bail. And so if you don't want your kids on TikTok, parents just get on TikTok, and the kids are going to leave. They're going to find another platform. And so I created a Facebook page, which was unusual. They were personal pages, but I created one that was BNK Painting. And so I'm like, I'm going to just start marketing myself on Facebook and YouTube. And I mean, you're talking like maybe 5 years into my career. And you have to understand too, I jumped into painting with no experience at all. And Darren had no experience either. We weren't painters. We weren't journeyman painters. So typically how things go in the trades is you get hired by a painter, a painting company, and a journeyman painter teaches you how to do everything. This is how you do it. And so you learn how to do it the right way. And you never learn the trade inside out. You never learn how not to do things and why you're doing. I started off painting with Darren and absolutely butchering like most of the crap I did. And I got kicked off of job sites from, Darren eventually soon left my company, and because, he had different goals and aspirations. He left, he started duration painting, and he still has it to this day, and he's successful doing his thing. But I was working alone, and I was having a lot of not success. I was making a lot of people mad, getting a lot of runs on walls and trim and stuff. It would have been easy just to say, this is not for me, this sucks. And the first house I sprayed the trim in, it was an absolute, like, I don't want to use cuss words, but it was an absolute freaking disaster. And I stood back and, you can cry or you can laugh. And I just looked at it, and I didn't do either. I looked at it and I just said, what went wrong? And I'm going to figure out what went wrong, and I'm going to do it again and make sure I get it right. And
so it just became trial and error, and then you just self-educate?
So for 5 years, it was trial and error. I got to the point I was so obsessed with, I would feel the humidity. I would feel the heat. I didn't wear nowadays we're obsessed with wearing headphones when we're working. The kids are listening to music. They're listening to podcasts. You can't be in tune with what you're doing and know your surroundings and become good at what you're doing if you're listening to things that are distracting you mentally to feeling your surroundings. And so I got just really in tune with the trade of painting and how to become successful.
And what does that say about, I'm caught up in self-development, but the problem with self-development is most people get caught up in the education side of things and they never take the action. Mm-hmm. Sounds like you did the opposite route. You went straight into just figure it out. Would you say that's a better example for up and coming entrepreneurs to just do the thing, figure it out, rather than just be so consumed with the education side of things? Yeah,
it's the education, because I don't want to say don't do the education part, because then you won't watch my videos.
Right.
So watch it. The education part helps you to that path of success, and it helps you faster. But if you want to be the best you can be, you have to try, you have to fail to become better. If you never fail, you don't know what it's like to actually create something bad and how to fix it. This came up, I came up with the saying a long time ago. The only difference between a journeyman painter and an apprentice painter is a journeyman painter knows how to fix everything. Mm-hmm. And so I learned for 5 years how to fix all my mistakes. So I learned what not to do and then what to do. It's a completely different perspective than, most painters have. And so that, and part of that was because there was no YouTube, there was no books, there was nothing on the education side of things.
So did that trial and error create the opportunity to be oh, aha, I can create a video out of this?
And that's what happened. I was in, and so part of the epidemics in the trades is nobody wants to share information. Before YouTube, there was this lack of information being shared within the trades, because if I teach somebody how to do something, it's taking food off my table. Painters didn't talk to each other. You walked into the painting store, they didn't even look at each other. They separated and didn't share information. There was one painter, in my life, two painters, and one painter walked in the store. His name was Chris, and I walked in, and I had no idea how to bid a job, and I was new. I had no idea, and how to bid a lacquer package. And he shared with me the information. This is how you bid it. This is what you charge. And I was so blown away by that. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody actually wanted to help me, and I was like, man, I could actually make videos on YouTube helping people like Chris helped me. And instead of spending 5 years, this massive learning curve and crying and getting kicked off of job sites and stuff, I can help people to succeed faster than I did. And I just thought, why wouldn't I do that? Right. And it became a passion of mine to create videos to help people out. And then there was also the athletic side of me, the competition that spurred it on too, because I became extremely competitive with other people creating videos on YouTube also.